Procrastination. What is often missed with procrastination? Definition. Procrastination, the action of delaying or postponing something. This is something you could have most probably handled or done. Naming the problem. Procrastination is putting off what you should have already done. You had a chance to do it, but you decided against it and delayed the task or action. The idea being that you will do it at a later stage. A couple of myths laid to rest. Are procrastinators born or made? Procrastinators are made and not born. That's both the good news and the bad news. Good, because it's a learned response or bad habit. And what's learned can be unlearned. The bad news is that while it is possible to change, it takes a lot of intentional planning to transform this habit. Let us set the record straight. You are not a procrastinator. You are someone that has a bad habit of procrastinating. We can solve the behavior, the bad habit. Then you can change your paradigm, your idea of calling yourself a procrastinator. The thing that you are procrastinating is not the problem. It's a lack of confront that you are facing. It is the inability to sit down and focus on doing what you need to do. It's not facing the challenge of the day. It's not doing what is on your target or your to-do list. You are not a procrastinator. You just have a bad habit of not facing what you need to face. You are not doing what you need to do. Here is where the to-do list or battle plan comes in. But we will give you a bit more so as to handle it. It is of course going to go hand in hand with gradient scale. Solving your put-off tasks with gradients. You don't want to face that item that you are procrastinating from. You will place all sorts of excuses in the way. Not enough time, or have not done this yet, or still want to do that, something else first. Some of these excuses may be perfectly real, but you need to address them regardless. And so you will handle these with a to-do list and a gradient scale. You will, however, step up the time spent on these tasks of delaying the procrastination by adding more into the to-do list and then actually doing it. Here is an example of Joe that has put off running the XYZ project for too long. For the last 3 months, he has procrastinated on this project. Recognize that he has lots of back off and some negative thoughts about this project, so as to not confront it. So let us provide a way forward on how to solve it, get the project done. First of all, understand that the procrastination comes from you. You are the one that is going to have to confront the entire task. There is no magic, but there is most certainly a procedure. In other words, there is a system to follow. You will need to run your procrastination task like a project. No matter how small or big the task or project is, it must be broken down into smaller, doable parts. Make a list of everything that needs to be done to run and complete the project. When you write things down, you have to ignore all of the negative thoughts that have made you delay the task or project. Write these things to do as if you will not be doing them. You can then remove your emotion from these tasks. Next, you need to break down these things that need to be done, in other words, the doable tasks, into very small parts. Call them subtasks. Example, if you have listed clean out the bookshelf cabinet, this needs to be broken down into clean out the top shelf of the book cabinet, then clean out the middle shelf, and then clean out the bottom shelf. The reason for this is so as to give you very small but achievable tasks, as well as being able to reward yourself when you've completed a subtask. The rewards are critical because you need to see some sort of progress. When you can see some improvement over a small period of time, then that will be inspiration to let you do a bit more. This is just another way of using the gradient scale so as to achieve something. Here are some tips when handling procrastination. Number 1, keep a to-do list. Number 2, prioritize your to-do list. Number 3, become a master at scheduling and project planning. Number 4, tackle the hardest tasks at your peak times. Number 5, set yourself time-bound goals. Number 6, use task and time management applications. The truth about procrastination. Procrastination is actually a real weakness in ourselves. It is the inability to manage yourself. It's no good trying to word this nicely. Therefore, I will say it as it is. When you procrastinate, then you fail to manage you. You are on the downhill and you are doing nothing to save yourself. In fact, you are hiding behind this word called procrastination and explaining to people and yourself that you suffer with procrastination, as if it was some disease, something that you got from your mother or father or whatever. If you fall into this trap, then stop it, just stop it. It's a miserable excuse. The real reason is that you are not taking responsibility for you. Now, if you want to heal yourself of this so-called ailment, then get real and carry on watching. If you are looking for sympathy or an excuse, then stop watching this right now, because this video was not intended to give sympathy or get you to justify something why you cannot fix yourself. So for those of you that are still with this program, then let us explain how to handle this thing called procrastination. And we will then explain how to stop this bad habit and give you tools to manage it. Procrastination takes away our happiness. Happiness and self-fulfillment are found in self-directed targets and goals. This means that when you allow procrastination into your life, then you are promoting unhappiness. Listen to those words again. You allow procrastination, yes, you, and that leads to your unhappiness. So it's you that holds the way out of this trap. There is some advice coming up. Why procrastination is the enemy of success. Procrastination is the enemy of our success on multiple fronts. Waiting until the final possible moment to tackle an important chore will more often than not result in decreased potential and performance, and in extreme cases can cause failure. With that said, let me now explain how to manage it. Not only manage it, but deal with it forever and have the right tools to handle it when it comes back at you. I'm again talking from experience and not from a textbook. This will be unpacked before your eyes and ears. Here is one of my procrastination experiences. I had an electrical issue with a vehicle some time ago. Now, while I'm not an auto electrician, I'm technically minded and have repaired almost all of my electrical issues my entire life in the home and on vehicles. The point is that I am more than qualified to fix such a fault, but for some reason I procrastinated fixing this vehicle. The procrastination went on for an embarrassing amount of time. The only way that I managed to overcome it was to create a to-do list with extremely small tasks which I took on each day. Each daily task only lasted between 10 to 20 minutes. However, this was enough for me to get the project going. I was able to confront these very small tasks each day, which I put on my to-do list to run the repair project. I got satisfaction from knowing that I was at least running with the project after a day or so. This was an added relief for me because of the pain that I'd caused myself over this very long time of doing nothing about it. So breaking down the tasks so that you no longer procrastinate on the project is the very first step. It's a doable win, but let me be clear, it takes management and consistency that only you can perform. And of course, you have to put pen to paper or type into a document. The writing at least ends the procrastination because you have done something by writing about it. I found that in my case, I did not want to take on the task because I feared failure. This is common because we find the task at hand overwhelming, and we don't want to be overwhelmed, so we put off the task and go and do something that we are okay with or good at, and this becomes the diversion. Placing the procrastinated task further back on your to-do list, in other words, running away from it. One positive way to start to deal with the put-off task is to start to write about it. Yes, take a pen and paper or open a Word doc of some sorts and write down what is troubling you. A fear or a dependency like I cannot do this until this or that is done. It's okay, write what you feel because then you can use that data to handle how to break it down, and break it down is what is required. Here is a general note on procrastination and motivation. Motivation is not a prerequisite for action. That means that you don't need to feel motivated or wait for motivation before you act on something. You can actually start to do it and the drive will come later. Example, you don't feel like driving, but by sitting in front of the steering wheel of a car, then you already have what is needed to get going. You will need a bit of a paradigm shift, but that is part of this game. What I'm saying is that you need to kick your own ask questions later. Some notes on procrastination. Here are a few results that you get when diving into procrastination. There are, of course, many more that I could share with you, but my aim here is to show you a common thread of the reason, or I should say the most common reason for procrastination. Once we have the common thread, then we can handle the common point and it will resolve the majority, if not all, reasons for procrastination. Research has shown a connection between the fear of failure and procrastination. That means that the more anxious we feel about failing to reach our goals, the less likely we are to take action towards achieving them. A common reason for procrastination is fear, meaning that people procrastinate because they're afraid of something such as failing or being criticized. What causes a person to procrastinate? People sometimes procrastinate because they overestimate how much they can achieve in a certain time frame. They may also feel overwhelmed by tasks that keep pouring in from every direction. Organizational strategies can be helpful in such cases. For example, time management and to-do lists can limit procrastination behaviors. Some tips on how to avoid procrastination. 1. Set small goals. Often the thought of completing one large task can seem overwhelming. Break big initiatives into smaller tasks. Capture every to-do, break it down. 2. Organize your tasks. 3. Focus your attention. 4. Remove distractions. 5. Connect work to goals. 6. Clarify priorities. 7. Use goals to fight perfectionism. You can still be a perfectionist if you want, but recognize that you will need to break your tasks down even more, and your quality at first will be average, and then you can go deeper to get a more polished product if you so wish. Summary. Make a to-do list. Set targets and gradients. These alone will handle your procrastination. When these don't work, then revisit the to-do lists, the targets, and the gradient. You may need to break these down even more into more manageable tasks. This makes the tasks shorter, smaller, and easier to confront because there is less to do in each task. You will need to practice this method of handling procrastination, writing down what needs to be done and placing them in to-do lists or battle plans, and breaking the tasks down into subtasks. The smaller the better. Go for small wins. Don't expect to solve every one of your procrastination projects all at once. Start with just one and work on it. Watch this video again and make notes if need be. But start now. Do not put it off. Don't procrastinate, because you don't have the habit anymore. You have a system to resolve it. The system to resolve procrastination. 1. Write down a name for the task, job, or project that you have been procrastinating. 2. Write down everything in doable steps, what needs to be done. 3. Break these doable steps down further if you can. 4. Assign these doable steps or tasks to your to-do list and schedule them. Now go and do the first one. Then keep this up daily with at least one small task each day until it is a done. If you got something out of this video, then subscribe for more tools and ideas on how to solve living management. Take a look on this channel for more guidance. I wish you well in changing your life around for the better. Power to you from Lots of Healing.